What is up, guys? Tsunami01 here with another FIFA 16 video, and in this episode we're going to be talking about the first thing you want to do when you get the full game of FIFA 16, either through EA Access or when it comes out officially. And you want to go to the customize and click on settings and then click on the customize controls. Here you're going to see all the different settings that you can switch on or off. The first one is the FIFA trainer, and unless you are new to FIFA 16, you really should turn that off because it's just like a small tutorial. It'll tell you to press A and it just blocks your vision in game and might confuse you a little bit, so I definitely recommend you turn that off. The next option is the auto switching, and this is a key one to switch. It starts off at airballs, which is a really good option, but I personally prefer manual just because I like to make sure that I have full control of the players and know who I am controlling at all times. I never want to be caught off guard because the AI switches me over. I definitely do not recommend auto. You could go with airballs, and that is the same as manual, except for it switches automatically whenever the ball is in the air. It switches to the nearest person. I just personally prefer manual just because I want to know exactly who I'm controlling at all times. The next option is the auto switch and move assistance. I like to keep it at default, which is none, and same with the pass and power assistance. I just like to keep those at default. If you're new to the game, you may want to turn those on. Next up though is the pass assistance, and once again the next couple I leave at default, which is assisted, pass assistant, through ball assistance, and shot assistance. Now cross assistant used to be on assisted on default. Now in FIFA 16 default is semi, which is perfect. I like it because it allows you to have better control of your crosses, not only with the power but with placement. If you had it on assisted, you can't really put it exactly where you want it to. It'll do it more for you. So I personally prefer semi, which is a nice balance between manual and automatic, and since that's what's on default, a lot of people now will be able to use that from the get-go. The next couple options are lob pass assistance, which is another one that I switch. I switch that to manual. Why? Just because it gives me a little bit extra abilities to customize my lob through balls, put it right where I want it to, because again, power and placement of lob through balls are very, very key, just like in crosses. So I want to have as much control over those as possible. For a lot of people, if you're starting off, guys, again, definitely do assisted, definitely have the computer help you out. But once you play a little bit of FIFA 16, you feel a little bit comfortable with the amount of power you need to pass and the directions, you definitely might want to start switching some of these to manual, just so you have more control and you can pinpoint passes exactly where you want them to. The next one is the save assistance. I leave it as assisted. I really don't see any reason why you should switch that. And then lastly, the analog sprint, which I turn off just because sometimes you'll move a little bit slower than you want them to. They won't get off the ball as quickly as possible. If you press the sprint button, it'll do like a slow acceleration to full speed, instead of if you have analog sprint off, it goes full speed from the very get-go. And I just think that might help you out a little bit more, especially if you're using like a Ronaldo and you want to get on a breakaway. And of course, the last one is the tactical defending. You really shouldn't switch that because that's only for offline mode, because on online you're forced to play with tactical defending, so you should definitely practice that offline too. Game settings now, we go over there, and it's specifically to the camera. Here you can see you can switch the single player camera, the multiplayer camera, and I like to have the Tele Broadcast camera. This was the best one for me in FIFA 15 because it offered the perfect combination of large enough so I can see all my players, zoomed in enough that I can still feel like I can control my player and feel comfortable controlling him and all the moves that he's going to do, but still have a large enough screen and zoomed out enough to see a lot of my players making their runs, and I can catch those runs. Because if you have it on default, you will miss out on a huge runs that your players will be doing, and you will miss them out because your camera is too zoomed in. So definitely recommend you to try out some different cameras. I personally like the Tele Broadcast, but there's a lot of different cameras that might fit your needs better. But anyways, that is mainly the main things you guys want to do. The first thing you want to do when you get FIFA 16, switch your game settings and switch your camera settings just to make sure that you get the best experience from the get-go. And there's some things that could really help you if you have the switch into auto or something like that. It could really mess up your game and you could really give up a lot of goals. So make sure you switch those things out. I showed you guys my favorite ones. You guys definitely, depending on how experienced you are with the game, it might be differently. But I really want to thank you guys so much for watching. Click on the left if you want to see my FIFA 15 tutorials. Click on the right if you want to see my FIFA 15 Division 1 tips series from the very beginning. And down below to subscribe. And I also had a video earlier today on FIFA 16, my very first gameplay. So definitely go check that out.